really would like to know, Michel, is, am I pronouncing your name right? Michel Petrucciani.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Is that good enough?
Sure.
But I mean, are you totally French? Are you part Italian?
I'm part Italian.
Is that the Italian part?
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, it doesn't sound like a real French. The Michel does, but not the Petrucciani.
No, my name should have been Michel Dubois or something. You know,
Oh, yeah.
or,
Well,
Dupalier.
now I hear the accent.
Petrucciani is definitely Italian, from Sicily.
How long have you been over here now?
It's about 6.5 years.
You've really done a lot since you've been in this country. I mean, I know that you played a great deal before you came here, but I mean, you've made what, about 7, 8 albums?
Yeah, something like that. I started with Charles Lloyd. You know.
Charles Lloyd, yeah.
He was the one that really brought me into the American public. Out, you know.
Charles Lloyd, the saxophone player.
The saxophone player, yeah.
Well, he was, for a while, he was sort of retired. Did he hear you over there in Europe?
It's a little bit like that, to make a long story short. I mean, I just went to his house once because I went not to see him, but I was going to see another friend who was a friend of Charles. And,
yeah.
And he had a Steinway there, and I started just playing a little, and he picked up the saxophone, and I turned around, I saw the saxophone right in my ear, and he was going, you know, and he started playing, and we started playing together. And like a few weeks later, he just came and said, "How'd you like to be in my band? I'd like to start again." And I said, "Wow, that'd be great." And we started a little bit in California and made a few albums together. You know, live in Montreux in 1982, and the live in Copenhagen, and.
Before we get into a big discussion here, I mean, let's play something. I want to hear you play.
Okay.
And what's it going to be?
I'm going to play a Duke Ellington composition called "In a Sentimental Mood."
I love that. That's one of my all-time favorites. goodness, that's quite a wonderful arrangement, Michelle. But you know, it's interesting, all the substitutions that you used, like in the beginning of the tune, you know, everybody goes, and you did something so interesting. Let's see, play that whole little sequence so I can steal it. That's nice.
This is a F minor with the B flat pedal.
Yeah.
B minor. How would you call that? B minor.
I don't know. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, like that. B minor, flat 5, and then F minor with a B flat pedal. A minor, 7. Then A flat diminish. Right? A flat diminish. Then G minor.
Don't give away all your secrets. It's really pretty, but it's such a nice change from hearing the other harmony. You know, you've worked out some interesting ideas.
I tell you, sometimes though, it's a good thing, but sometimes I have a problem because I just put my hands anywhere, and I take a chance.
Well, I love that. I
So
love
I
that.
just go like. So I go, okay, now I started with this. You know, where am I going? And sometimes it's great, but sometimes it doesn't come out the way I wish it would.
No, you're obviously a spontaneous player, which I really like about you, and you must have started at a very early age. Not that you're that old, because you're just a kid, 22, 23?
23.
23, but you must have started when, what, 3, 4?
I started playing the piano, studying piano when I was 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Your father and mother had you, they knew something was up, but they had a talented young
it's
guy
funny that
there.
we started by playing a Duke Ellington song because I fell in love with the piano watching Duke's music on TV, and I remember that I must have been like 3.5 or something. I mean, I must have been really young, a baby, and I never forgot the picture of the Duke's band and Duke's piano in the front, and the way the piano sounded. I really fell in love with that instrument. I look at my dad, who was a musician, and I said, "That's the instrument I want to play," because they were all teasing me in my family, because everybody was playing, but not me yet. And they would say, "Okay, Michel, what are you gonna play?" And I was thinking, what instrument I'm gonna play. And when I saw Duke on TV, I said, "I want to play that." And my dad brought me a toy, and the toy didn't sound like the thing on TV.
You mean
so
a toy piano?
Yeah, so I destroyed it. And I look at my dad and I said,
Oh, you rotten kids.
This doesn't sound like what I heard on TV. And I think after that he took me seriously and brought me a piano, a real piano.
Well, obviously, you must have studied classics too to get those kind of
about
technical.
10 years. I had a wonderful teacher. She was a concertist. She was playing concert for 30 years, and then she retired, and she started giving lessons. And she was great. She was hard on me, but hard in a nice way, not the kind of piano teacher that slam your fingers if you play the wrong notes or something. I hate
Well, that's
that.
terrible. Well, that's not a good way to get a kid to play, is it?
No, I think it's Nazism, actually. I think it's terrible.
Teacher would probably be probably jealous when they would do that. The way you play. As a matter of fact, now that I've heard you play, I think I'd like to slam the piano down.
Please.
On your You just sound too darn good. In fact, I'd love to hear you play one of your own tunes. How about that? Will you do one of your own things?
Okay, I'm going to do the prayer.
When did you write this?
I wrote this about a year ago, maybe. About a year ago.
I love your accent. When we started talking, you sounded more American. Now you're getting more French.
Oh, the more
love
I talk, the more we'll get into this. And at the end of the show, I'll be speaking like this.
Well, play a little. Play your song.
Okay.
The prayer.
The prayer.
The prayer. Okay. Oh, that's lovely. You know, you're a very romantic, soulful player. Well, you know that, I'm sure.
Well, I guess that's my Bill Evans influence. I
I
mean,
was just thinking, there's certainly some Bill in there.
a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's, I can't help it. I mean, like,
Well, you're not copying him. I didn't mean that. But
Bill was saying something. Bill said something. I remember he said, people are funny when they say, yeah, you have a lot of Bill Evans influence or Art Tatum or whatever. That's great. I think it's wonderful. And he was saying something which I agree with. He said, even if you wanted to play like somebody else, you can't because there's only one of those. You know, there's only one Bill Evans, only one Oscar Peterson, only one Keith Jarrett, only one Chick Corea. And even if I wanted to play like all those people, I couldn't because there's only one of them.
But what they do inspires you so much that
Of
you
course.
wind up unconsciously maybe using a voicing or a chord that they use.
Of course, and it's like life itself too. I think. You know,
How do you mean?
well, if you like somebody, if you have a good friend and they use an expression, you know, like when they talk, they use
Oh,
an
I
expression
see,
that you
yeah.
like, you might pick it up and do and say the same thing or act the same way or.
That's very true. Where, I think I read somewhere in one of your some liner notes or something. Were you born in or near Avignon? Is that where you're from?
Close.
I went
Orange. I was born in Orange.
I went through there once, Avignon. What a beautiful little
Oh,
town.
yeah. That was like 20 kilometers.
I was in USO camp shows in World War II, and we were in a gorgeous place. We were down in Nice, actually, and we were in Cannes. And, well, you know, you weren't around at that time. So, you know, I'm leading up to something that I would really like to do, Michel, with you, if it's okay. And that is to try and play that nice blues that you were playing by Ornette Coleman. It's called
Turn Around.
Yeah. You said it because you know the tempo it's supposed to be. By the way, I should give you a plug on this, shouldn't I? What record is that on? It's on...
This Turn Around is on the 100 Hearts album.
Right.
Which
Well,
is
that's
on
one
the
of your
George
earlier
Weah
ones,
collection.
isn't it? George, yeah, Concord.
Yeah.
Concord, yes. In case somebody just tuned in, it's Michel Petrucciani and Marian McPartland. And my piano's on the left and Michel's is on the right. So if you want to make it stereo, you can. That's a great blues.
You wanted to take me some places there. I saw that.
Huh?
Uh-huh. That was nice. You took me somewhere.
Well, you took me somewhere, and you didn't. You know, it's nice to get out there, and but we came back, didn't we?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, I like that.
It's funny you're just talking about Ornette, and then he has this other tune that's so great. You do that
Oh,
one,
yeah.
Lonely Woman.
Yeah, it's Charlie Hayden plays all the time.
Yeah. Oh, right, with the ostinato
Yeah.
bass. Oh, that thing. That's right. You've worked with. In fact, you mentioned him on one of your albums in connection with that blues. I think.
Yeah, I worked with
read
Charlie.
that. Yeah.
He was
great
the one
bass player.
that turned me on to that kind of music. I mean, that blues especially. Said, gotta play that.
Oh, see, I'm going to play that from now on because when I go away from here and I sit down and get my head together, then I'll just do it right. But thanks for teaching me that.
It was fantastic. It was great.
It's nice. Well, let's see.
I think I'd like to hear you play. I think you should play one for me if you want.
I'd like to. I'm such a ham. I mean, I probably would do it anyway, but it is nice to play for somebody, isn't it? It's very important. Now, this is a tune by a guy named Matt Dennis. You must play some of his things. And it's called The Night We Called It a Day. Very sad song.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It's a pretty song, isn't
Yeah,
it?
your left hand moves great. It's really a pleasure. I love to watch your hand because I don't know if the people knows that, but the pianos, we're not facing each other, but
No, they probably don't
we're
know. They're probably trying to imagine how
right,
we're set up
right, and we're set up because
side by
I've been
side.
listening to your show for so many years
Yeah, I know
already,
you told me that.
and I always thought that you had your guest, like the classical way of setting up, like front to front, and
That's why I like this, so that I can steal what the guest is doing, and I can watch. I
I'm
can say, "Oh
stealing
yeah,
I
is
already
that what he
stole a
did?"
lot. I stole more than you think from you already, and it's really beautiful to watch you play. I love it. I love you playing. I think you're great.
I sometimes like to pick a tune that I haven't done in a long time, like that one, just so that I'm not falling into
Any routines?
a routine. Although I can, at the same time, I can also get lost or change the harmony around. But I wanted to follow up on what you said, which was to be being spontaneous. You've got to take it the way it is, and even if I'd rather be spontaneous and sort of mess it up here and there
Of course.
than have it all set out
But you
nicely.
didn't mess up anything. It
Oh,
was,
you will.
no, that was great.
I tell you what, this would be fun to try on a duet because we could each do a chorus of a tune and then lead into it and play it together. What do you
Okay.
think about that?
Sure.
All right. I'll start, and then I'll do a chorus, and I'll let you take one. And then you set the tempo you want, and away we go. Funny Valentine, all right? Talk about who's taking who out. Oh, that was wonderful because you know I guess I better identify who we are in case somebody just tuned in. Marian McPartland, my guest, Michel Petrucciani, and when I say you're taking me out, I mean you're just taking me to a faraway place in the tune because I thought I was going to be very nice and modulate from F sharp into C minor, but then you got very arbitrary. You said, no, I'm going to stay there and do it in that key myself, which it was really fun.
I just tried to surprise you there.
I love that.
Since you told me before the show,
Oh,
they were playing F sharp.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, so
I didn't.
I remember that. And I can't see your hands anyway, so
I'll just put the lid down.
Do like Mozart, put a little cloth on top of the keys.
Did Mozart do that?
Yeah, because he didn't want anybody to see what he was doing.
I can
That
imagine.
was fun.
I can imagine he didn't want everybody to know what he was doing. I mean, what a genius. Well, you asked if I played Giant Steps, and I used to play it. Actually, I love John Coltrane, don't you? Don't you love his
Oh, yeah.
things?
You know, to me, there's the creator of that music. You know, they are creators of that music, like the classical composers, you know. And Train was one of them, and Bird and Bill Evans was one of them, and Tatum. You know, people like that. I think they really create what we call now jazz. I mean, it was jazz then too, but somehow they really give so much information to the young people like me, for example. I mean, you know, it's so easy nowadays to be young and play relatively well because there's so much information. You know, you just I don't know what you.
No, that's interesting that you say that. When you say there's so much information, because possibly, you know, somebody's listening to us and they're saying, "What does he mean? So much information?" But of course, what you mean is records and tapes, and then somebody did a whole book. Andrew White did a whole book of John Coltrane transcriptions. I mean, well, like you learned Giant Step. Did you learn it off the record, or what did you do?
Giant Steps, I've been playing now for 18 years, and I never had the courage to approach Giant Steps because it was one of those tunes where I said, "Oh my God, I never, you know, it doesn't. Nobody wrote that tune. You know, that tune does not exist."
I felt the same way when I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a problem. My hand got hurt. I hurt my arm, and I couldn't play for a while. And when I recovered, I was looking for a way to play the piano again and to get my technique back, you know. And I wanted to have that very fast. So I wanted to do like a giant steps, you know, like a giant step in my recovery process. And I studied. I said, well, this is a good opportunity now that you can't play anymore. Even if you make mistakes, now you don't have to blame yourself. You can blame your accident, you know. So I practiced giant step really slowly, you know, and it's very recent. I just started to play giant step for the last 6 months or so, and
Oh,
now
really?
it's
Is it that recent?
oh
that you
yeah,
hurt your arm?
yeah, it's very recent.
Well, so what did you do? You just was it your right? Was it your right?
My right hand, yeah.
Oh boy.
So you know, I was just starting, and I was going. And then,
That's
you know,
very hip practicing, my friends. It's very hip practicing.
yeah, but I started by, you know, just singing on the tune, and then it's easy for me to sing. I mean, to sing ideas, you know. So I take a tape recorder, like a Walkman or something. I put it on the piano, and I just, you know, sing phrases, and then I pick it up on the from my voice. I pick it up on the piano because I find out, for me anyway, that if I start playing a solo on a tune, sometimes I get into some cliches and things, you know, because it's so easy to go. You know, sometimes it's very easy to do that. And when I want to get out of that, I start singing. And I record it, and then I learn new phrases that way.
You know, that's interesting because that was something Lenny Tristano always said. Well, a lot of people say that you should be able to sing everything you play.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea to sing your phrases and then tape them and then play them back on the piano. What a great idea!
I do that sometimes.
Well, just
But
for one chord.
I haven't done that in a long time, though. I'm
Before,
sorry.
no, I was going to say before we get into the tune, what you're doing is very interesting to me. I mean, if I just played the chords, could you play some of those like practice improv things that you were doing? Like a little scale.
Do you want to play it?
Yeah, it's just
like slow.
yeah, and then we'll do it up tempo. Whew, that was. That, I had a ball. I'm speechless. I really had a good time.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed that.
Me too.
You are just such an interesting and fabulous player. I don't know what to say. I'm just enjoying having you here so much.
Thank you. Thanks for
Michel
having me.
Petrucciani, just a wonderful talent, and I know you've done a lot already, but you're so young and you have so much more to do. I really wish you so many good things in your career and all the things you want to do, arranging and symphony, and it's just wonderful to see all this ahead of you. Just knocks me out.
Thank you.
What do you have, like, for your plans for the future? What do you think of in your mind as the next thing you want to do?
There's a lot of things I want to do, but I'm so busy doing what I'm doing right now, which is, I have the trio and with Elliot Ziegman and Polly Danielson. So we toured. We just finished a tour yesterday. We were in Washington D.C. and I'm going to Japan next week and playing a solo concert there. And then I don't know. I just I'm very happy with Blue Note. I just signed with them and they're really treating me very well.
One of your records, maybe it's the new one, it's the one called Pianism on Blue Note, that you've got some, you talk about playing Night and Day, like a spontaneous performance of Night and Day. You want to try another spontaneous performance of Night and Day?
Okay.
Want to try that?
Okay.
But before we do, again, Michel Petrucciani, I just want to thank you very, very much for being on the show. I just think you're fabulous. I'm your biggest fan. And now I know you're going to waste me, so let's go.
Okay.